Sunlight opened up my eyes to see for the first time. It opened them up, and tonight rivers will run dry.
In light of the emergence of globalization, meaningful discussions on the problem of religious intolerance ought to include a close examination of both internal and external factors, and a proactive plan for conflict resolution. I've combined academic research with critical examination of my personal experience as a Christian, using observations recorded during a 5-year span in over 2,000 handwritten journal pages to make a case that the principles set forth in applied anthropology may be valuable to both interdenominational and international religious tolerance efforts.
Looking for life on earth. Don't fight for the wrong side. Say what you feel like. Say how you feel.
The Church's infamous Index of Prohibited Books, abolished 1966, included so-called heretics such as Copernicus, Galileo, Sartre, Kant, Milton, Hugo, Luther, and Calvin. Many people view censorship as a human rights issue, and those who practice it, such as radical Muslims or the Chinese government, are seen as oppressors. This is not the best company for church authorities, who are supposed to be on the side of human rights victims. Things were about to get very ugly for me when I chose to resume my blogging about the truth and the Church's attempts to suppress it.
Created, then drilled and invaded.
Based on studies in terror management, a direct correlation can be made between one's fear-based beliefs about life after death and the attitude one has toward others.
You are not wrong to ask who does this belong to. It belongs to all of us.
If eternal torment is a biblical doctrine, then allowing it to successfully stand under the light of scrutiny will only strengthen the position of those who hold to the doctrine. However, if eternal torment is not accurate doctrine, then allowing it to crumble in the light of scrutiny will likely strengthen the global efforts towards religious tolerance. If the connection between fear-based beliefs and negative attitude towards others were to be severed, the expected outcome would be a more legitimate assessment of others, less negative reaction, less criticism, and an increase in positive behavior toward others. Although I mainly address the Christian perspective, it is noteworthy that most world religions subscribe to some form of either eternal torment or annihilation doctrines. Selective exposure among Christian fundamentalists. An experiment was performed to test whether the desire to read belief-supporting materials and belief-opposing materials would demonstrate selective avoidance of reading materials that contradict one's current beliefs. At first, there were 231 participants. Over half of the participants were eliminated because they did not score high enough on questions that indicate a spiritual mindset. The experiment then continued with 102 participants. These 102 participants were divided into 3 categories according to the answers they provided. The extrinsic category are participants who have a stern, punitive view of God. The intrinsic category are participants who view God as loving and forgiving. The quest category are participants who consider existential questions and open-ended search. Participants were then told that they were selecting reading materials for a Christian magazine. They were given a brief synopsis of potential articles and told to choose which ones they most wanted to read. The information included obviously pro-Christian, anti-Christian, and neutral subject matter. These results do not include the neutral choices.
No religion, online virus. Is there a hope that the facts will ever find us? Just make sure that you are looking out for number one. But I'm hungry for some unrest. Let's push it beyond a peaceful protest. I want to speak in a language that you will understand.
Excerpt from blog, June 4th, 2009. Today is a good day to lose my job. I posted a few blogs that contained some information that certain people did not agree with, and these people brought the information to the attention of the pastor, who is also my boss. He asked me to refrain from posting any more of these kind of blogs. Actually, to be fair to him, he asked me to wait. I waited almost a year. I did my best to comply because I really do like my job, but God impressed on me to speak the truth and let Him sort out the consequences. Long story short, I was fired, but I was already looking for another job anyway. Needless to say, I will be posting some thought-provoking blogs. If you are offended with what I write, then don't read my blogs. Pretty simple. Otherwise, it's good discussion material for people who like digging in the Word. God has prepared a lifetime of good works for us here on this earth. We are ambassadors to those who do not yet understand the amazing love of God. Already I have been asked twice if I still intend to remain at this church. Of course I do. There are plenty of really awesome reasons to stay right where I am.
What if you should decide that you don't want me there by your side? That you don't want me there in your life? That's right.
The Bible says to bear with one another in love. Notice how it is assumed that we won't always agree. It is how we respond to those situations that makes all the difference.
How can you believe you don't even try? That's right. Every step that you take